As I'm recording this video, I have at least 370 hours of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's not impressive, but it's my most played game and I had a lot of fun playing it, especially as Victor. However, I see that people really hate the Belmonts for the projectile spam and teabagging, and more. As much as I'm bad at the game, there are still fundamentals that have to be respected no matter what. So, if you're a Belmont main and want to play some online matches, here are 5 tips on how not to be a toxic Belmont online. I put emphasis on the word online, because nobody really cares about that one time you teabagged a level 6 CPU and then lost the match, or whatever happened last Sunday when a level 9 CPU managed to dash dance and it turned out to be either Sephiroth or Kazuya. As situations like that can happen to anyone offline. With that out of the way, let's get started. This isn't just a piece of advice, it's essential to gain honor and respect in online matches. Some people complain about teabagging or taunting so much that they decide to rage quit instead of fighting. And while anger issues are not everybody's issues, teabagging is something that is universally avoided by most decent players and especially professionals when playing seriously, and this applies to video games in general. The only somewhat valid reason for someone to teabag in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate specifically is to get coins to buy spirits and items at the store, as you can get coins just from crouching a lot. It's not just that teabagging is rude, as it sends the message of dominance, disgust, throwing in the entire soul to the wind, but those who teabag just don't get any better results than those who don't. In most games that obviously means it's useless, say Street Fighter 5 or Mortal Kombat 11, or well, any fighting game for that matter. In Super Smash Bros. Ultimate though, people spam that crouch button, and as certain posts on Reddit indicate, it's usually done by those really bad players who do nothing but camp, and teabaggers usually lose. The most known thing about the Belmonts is their arsenal. Aside from a very long and lethal weapon we call the Vampire Killer, they also have the Holy Cross, the Axe, and the Holy Water. Well, the Holy Flame if you're playing as Simon. Apart from youngling mains which all they do is spamming arrows, Simon and Victor are the most annoying characters to deal with whenever their players spam projectiles. There's a huge difference between the mindlessly spamming projectiles and true zoning. Zoners like Simon, Victor, and say Duck Hunt Duo attack from a distance, hence their defensive game being so much better. Projectiles only help the player keep some distance away from their opponent. A lot of professionals, however, stick to the whip and the slide attack and only use projectiles in certain combos, usually the Holy Cross or the Holy Water. Just look at riddles. However, using only projectiles doesn't do much at all. Sure, you can deal as much damage as you want, but you're more likely than not to get free stop by your opponent this way. Not only because Simon and Victor have poor KO options, or because you suck at KOing, but mindlessly spamming doesn't exactly apply pressure to your opponent either, so this plan backfires more often than not. The axe only knocks out an opponent at 150% or higher, and even then it's not guaranteed. You're much better off throwing the Holy Water and using a forward smash or even slide attacking and then using the whip. While 3 of the 4 specials are covered by projectiles, the outlier is Simon and Victor's up special. Unfortunately, it's also the worst one. A lot of starters use this to recover. It's not a good idea, since it doesn't give the Belmonts almost any horizontal distance, and the vertical distance is pretty poor as well. More experienced players just use the whip as their grapple recovery, which is unfortunately the only decent options the Belmonts have. Furthermore, the usage of up special is not great in other circumstances either. Sourcing from Game 8, Up Special is the Belmont's only quick out of shoot option, coming out in only 6 frames. It's a quick startup and the knockback is decent, but it comes at the risk of only hitting an opponent very close as would otherwise leave them vulnerable. It's much better to just roll away and try to reset neutral. Neutral error is not as risky, but it's much slower at almost double the frames. The only time up special is actually useful is the down air and up special combo. Down air doesn't have good horizontal range, but it's useful for starting combos, and if it hits, it will allow Simon and Victor to follow up with another attack. This of course is very risky when doing it off stage because of the awful recovery. This is another universal one. While the golden rule is obviously not to blame the player but to blame the way they use the character when losing a match, or the character, humans are imperfect and can do so many errors and mistakes, even as the character that has the most favorable matchups like Pikachu or the most unfavorable matchups like Ganondorf. You can take it from me. Pikachu is Simon and Victor's worst matchup, and despite that, Pikachu main simply failed to show how and why the character is the worst matchup for another. Pikachu is light, fast, has a good recovery, excels at close range combat with his or her electric attacks, and the Thunder Shock is menacing. Not only that, but Pikachu is considered top tier in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and has remained one of the few characters in the roster largely left untouched, alongside Mew. But because of these critical errors, even with so many differences between Pikachu and the Belmonts, I actually managed to defeat more Pikachus and even Peaches than any other character in the roster, while struggling with more even or slightly advantageous matchups like Kirby, Bowser, Steve, and so on, simply because those who play as these characters know how to use their tools correctly. Well, how to use their tools in the case of Steve, but whatever. As for whoever Belmont you play as, it almost doesn't matter. Really, the only difference stands in the Holy Flame / Water. Simon is slightly better in terms of the number of matchups, as he fares better against all 3 Links and even Steve, while Victor only fares better against Olimar and Alf. Type effectiveness was effectively reduced in Ultimate, so it really comes down to the aesthetics of the characters. This is the biggest problem of the entire ecosystem of Super Smash Bros. For a reason. It was fun in Super Smash Bros. 4, especially for the Wii U, when there were numerous ways of playing online with public lobbies and even 2 ways of playing online mode. For fun included items and more casual stages, while for glory was the more competitive version, excluding casual stages, replacing them with Omega versions, and excluding items altogether. It was the best way of dividing the 2 types of online play. It was basically unranked and ranked. While Ultimate upgraded the lobbies to be full-on arenas, Quick Play turns into just normal solo and elite Smash. Both variants are one and the same, very ranked. This causes people to actually get more competitive, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but a lot of people take it way too seriously, myself included. And instead of playing to learn something, or even just playing for fun, well, people just win and taunt. That's not how you enjoy the game, at least not really. To enjoy the game, especially something intense like Smash or Tekken, it's more important to take the parts that make you happy and not angry, and, well, to learn from your mistakes. It's like rolling a dice. Each time you roll the dice, you get a different result. The odds may be slightly better for you as time goes on. If you don't enjoy that game, however, you can always switch to another game. And if nothing else works for you, well,